So I'm going to be first talking about today, kind of give a snapshot of where we are at today. And then I'm going to talk about loosely coupled API economy. See that as a very significant opportunity. The Internet of Everything. I mean, there's so many different terminologies here. We are so early in this movement. Sensors, wearables, bots, drones, and more. I'll provide some examples of some things that we're seeing happening. We'll also talk about a key trend toward what we're referring to as digital business. I wish I had a better term for it. But in some ways, there's an awful lot of parallels between what the traditional independent software vendors have gone through in transitioning their businesses to the cloud. In some ways, you can almost think about all of the various aspects of the business that likewise will get impacted for traditional businesses as they embrace a digitalization of their companies in all aspects of their companies. And there are certain opportunities, I think, for independent software vendors to take advantage across that set of challenges. We'll then focus in on three key opportunity areas. One is around mobility and location independence. We'll talk about monetization. We see that as a huge opportunity. There's some nascent players today. And we'll talk about cognitive systems. So we just completed some Saugatuck research. In the past, I've come here and I've shared with you some of our buyer demand survey work. And this presentation will be available post the conference if you'd like to download it. But here's some new research. We haven't, I mean, this is the first time we're sharing it. It was, I think we just completed the survey, Thursday, Friday last week. This is hot off the presses. And we ask a question, what describes the current state of your cloud adoption and how will it change by 2016 and 2018? Global survey, 200 plus completes, North America, Western Europe, Asia Pac. And here we have a lot of colors, so it's kind of hard to break it down. But if you look at the right-hand side of the chart, you can see these are the potential responses. So starting from the top, mostly standalone cloud apps is the dark blue at the top, aggressively adopting cloud solutions, greater than a third of our apps are in the cloud, evenly split cloud versus on-prem, mostly cloud-based solutions, and all-in cloud portfolio. And the dotted line represents those where they responded 50% or more of their apps were in the cloud. So today, I guess it's around 28, 29%, is growing to, just shy of 40% by 2016. And by 2018, this survey suggests that 60% of companies will have at least 50% of their apps in the cloud. Now, a lot of that is not just migrating of old workloads or traditional workloads, and super big, large companies are probably going to be more challenged. But we have so many new workloads being created, social workloads, big data workloads, that it's a combination of both of those phenomena where the cloud really becomes the de facto. By this time period, 60%, they're forecasting 60% of companies will have at least half of their apps in the cloud. And that's where we really have our two SPPs, or strategic planning positions. The cloud experiment is over. A new master architecture has emerged, in our opinion, based on cloud, mobile, social, and advanced analytics, with many elements accelerating toward or beyond mainstream adoption through 2016 to 2018. I am not suggesting that the game is over. The game is just really now getting into the rapid build-out. We're moving from early adopter to early mainstream, and now we're moving into the mainstream phase across many of these cycles. However, even within some of those phenomena, let's take a drill down in packaged app or SaaS applications. What's going on with CRM? We already have incredibly high penetration rates that will continue to grow. But in finance, which tends to be a laggard in the adoption of new business solutions, clearly this is where the build-out will occur as the latter part of this decade. So significant still opportunities in SaaS apps, infrastructure, middleware integration, et cetera, across the entire echo stack. Okay, let's shift gears and, am I hitting this right? There we go. And look at these three megatrends: API economy, the Internet of Things, and digital business. So the API economy, we've been ramping up our research in this area, and here's our two strategic planning positions that we wanted to put forth. By 2015, virtually all software vendors become pseudo-platform vendors through the issuance of rich APIs to expose and consume external services data. We're not saying they become a full-fledged platform, but de facto, by moving toward an API-driven phenomena, they do become a pseudo-platform vendor. In terms of managing those APIs, it becomes absolutely critical that you stay on top of it to ensure the livelihood for all the downstream services that may be exposed. By 2017, 70% of new software solutions will be assembled and composed extensively leveraging APIs rather than being built using traditional methods. So significant ISV opportunities here in integration services for users, API management services, security services. With the shift to DevOps, clearly major growth in services, including infrastructure and middleware maintenance services. We've already seen some players here. They tend to be rather nascent, as I had mentioned. Apogee has had some success. Software, SOA software, CA. We've been seeing some gobbled up players in the market. Some of the key integration players are likewise moving into the space, MuleSoft and Dell Boomi in particular. Okay, second key trend, Internet of Many Things. Comes in many forms, many terms. Internet of Everything, Internet of Things, etc. Our two strategic planning positions. Through 2017, innovators will rise and fall as device makers, app developers, solution providers, and their ecosystems sort out the best opportunities for large and sustainable revenue. I mean, this is such an early market. This is really if you want to do a greenfield, you're still very early in the game and have significant opportunities throughout the balance of the decade. I've talked to some great folks here at the conference from C Control, and we had the winner of last year's bake-off from Sumo Logic, clearly focused on this space. We see it as a very significant opportunity, but in the short term, over the next few years, there's going to be an awful lot of failure, and that's just the way it is. And that leads us to our second SPP. Through 2017, the most successful B2C and B2B sensor and wearable initiatives will be vertically focused, in our opinion, rather than consumer general purpose horizontal, with a very tangible ROI. And here's an example. I don't even know how visible Cognizant yet is with this initiative. Cognizant Technology Partners is one of our clients, so they authorized me to be able to share some of their graphics here in an initiative called Bring Your Own Healthcare Device, BYOHD. And here we have a phenomena where they're basically trying to leverage all of the Fitbits and the mobile devices in an environment today where there are no standards as it relates to being able to export that data out and plug it into a connected health management system through a variety of intelligent integration services, where they've actually created a series of plugins for all of these 100+ devices. What I learned through this engagement process is if you do have an acute healthcare issue, let's say you've got diabetes or you have a heart, you want to actively manage your health. So through the process, in this case, of using mobile devices rather than other types of sensor technologies, you're going to be able to plug yourself in, combine data with other healthcare data that is provided through your healthcare provider and more actively engage in your healthcare. You could plug in not only your iPhone, but in this case, you could plug in, if you have diabetes, your remote diabetes monitoring capability. So this is all in in a beta program with a couple large healthcare providers today. We see it as a great example. GE is doing some very interesting things, primarily vertically focused around big data and its many initiatives in that regard. Obviously, Cisco is big in this area as well. Siemens, many other companies. So let's look about the third key trend, digital business, creating business advantage. By 2017, medium and large enterprises, we believe, will need to develop a formal digital business strategy, moving from point solution initiatives toward a much more holistic approach toward thinking of their businesses as digital businesses. A lot of opportunities here. I'm going to be exploring a couple of them in just a moment. But as I had mentioned, a lot of parallels between the journey that independent software vendors have gone on and a journey that traditional businesses will go on. And think about all the things that you are doing today to support the transition of traditional ISVs, likewise being in parallel to traditional digital businesses. So let's look at these three big opportunity areas. One is in the area of mobility, location independence, mining data and cognitive systems, and the monetization of digital businesses. So we run a conference once a year called the Cloud Business Summit. We had a terrific panel last year focused among many of the panels around digital marketing, and had some senior CMOs, traditional business CMOs on it. And one of the key themes of that panel was an emphasis that time and place are now critical elements. Time and place are a new variable for marketers that really didn't exist 5-10 years ago. With the advent of smartphones in particular, we have seen their ability to be able to directly engage with consumers come to the fore in an unparalleled way. In that sense, through 2017, we believe that digital businesses will significantly embrace real-time, personalized, and context-aware mobile marketing strategies, as well as develop a range of innovative new B2B and B2C products and services that leverage these key core technology and business attributes. I mean, here I just have a few examples here. L'Oreal. L'Oreal historically, producer of perfumes and all sorts of things that you primarily would go through a department store to gain access to. They never were able to directly engage with customers. Now, if you happen to go up to the L'Oreal site, you log in, you provide some profile information about yourself. When you cross the chasm into that Macy's store or that Liverpool store, I was just down in Mexico, it's the big Liverpool down there. All of a sudden, whammo, you get an offer from L'Oreal, and they will try to direct you to their 40% off if you go, So time and place. Real-time, personalized, and context-aware mobile marketing strategies are the key to the future. Nike, many people are familiar with the many examples of Nike and the various tracking capabilities. Philips, Xerox, even in monitoring maintenance schedules for their large copiers, et cetera. Walgreens, GE. So it's this intersection of mobility, location-based services, and context-aware marketing that we see as a key opportunity. An interesting point on the second SPP, broad corporate adoption of mobility, and we're really at the early stages of that. It's one thing to just have a bring-your-own-device approach. It's another thing to have a corporate set of standards and policies and approaches. But the broad corporate adoption of mobility and mobile-first development strategies will require substantial modernization, renovation of traditional and conventional back-end systems. It'll be the connection. It'll be that real-time requirement to then tap in on a real-time basis to many back-end systems of which today, many of which are batch-oriented. So there is a massive system integration opportunity, not necessarily for ISVs, more for system integrators, as we see a huge application modernization play for many of these legacy systems over the next 5 to 10 years. I mean, Dell sees it as Perot. I mean, these guys have built a huge practice in this area. In Europe, the guys from T-Systems and elsewhere are significantly investing in these application modernization with big dough to be made. Let's look at our next opportunity. It's clearly around the shift to data mining and cognitive systems. As we shift from advanced analytics through predictive analytics to cognitive systems. Clearly, major initiatives from IBM around Watson are very interesting in this way. Likewise, we believe that many of the real breakthroughs here will be on a vertical basis as companies such as GE, IBM, and others radically redefine industries such as medical, diagnostics, streamlining supply chains, partner ecosystems, et cetera. Interestingly, yesterday I was on a panel they asked me to step in to moderate, which was a CEO panel focused on when to push the gas on growth strategies. And Fritz joined me amongst others, and appreciate your help yesterday. And one of the things we talked about was that there's different types of expansion and growth strategies. And one could be a geographic growth strategy, one could be new products, and one could be going vertical. And I believe, in fact, this cloud revolution, this digital business revolution, in many ways may accelerate what had historically been a laggard-oriented approach toward verticalization. And verticalization may very well go to the forefront as it relates to creating unique IP going forward. So our third key opportunity area is around this monetization of digital business. And it's not just digital business, it also applies to the API economy, it also applies to the Internet of Things. But here we're emphasizing it in the context of digital business. So in many ways, there's kind of a matrix of these trends and these opportunities that cross all three of them. So here we asked a question in our survey, and as I apologize we didn't have the time to get more of our survey research out to share with you. But here we asked the question, actually we asked two questions. We asked, please share first how important, and then second, how successful your company or division has been in developing and executing digital business strategies in each of the following areas. So the blue line is a line that identifies how important each of these elements are. And the gray lines are how effective they have been. And these are the responses of very and extremely very responses only. So you can see there's a huge gap between what people think are the most important and how well they are executing against that importance. And the elements at the top of the chart are things that people today believe are the most critical in effectively delivering on a digital business strategy. Proactive customer engagement, enhanced user experience, innovative business models or operating models, customer targeting using advanced analytics and big data, the development and delivery of innovative new digital products and services. And then we have a list that I've boxed here in red of things that still have a huge gap between what is important and how well they're executing on it. But we believe, in fact, many of these elements likewise will be recognized in the next few years as being critical to digital business success. Digital engagements of suppliers and business partners, channel expansion, digital add-ons to traditional products and services. Mostly it's been a focus on new digital products, rather than re-enabling traditional products. And here the emphasis in this particular chart is on new monetization platforms for digital business. And that leads us to, and mobile-first strategies. I think we're only now, on the vendor side, clearly it's all about mobile-first. But on the user side, in terms of rethinking their development strategies, we're still nascent relative to really understanding how critical that is in this new era. So here's our SPP. By 2017, advanced monetization capabilities will become a core competency for digital business success. Digital businesses will need to consider expected recurring cash flows, customer retention and growth, and manage with a clear view to the future. And just as that, going back to that comment I made earlier, that this is a journey that we can learn from our own experience of this ISV journey to the cloud. And many ISVs, not all, but many, underestimated, in particular, the monetization challenge significantly, and thought, in particular, as they, that they could have relatively simple tools. But most companies have, who have gone through this challenge, and it clearly depends on the sector that you're in, as you start to scale out your business and really understand it, and understand some of the challenges of a multi-tiered channel strategy, for example, in a highly scaled out cloud environment or a SaaS environment, this gets pretty complex pretty quickly. We've got some players that are clearly emerging. I think we actually had breakfast this morning from some folks from, well, maybe I won't mention too many names, our friends here today. But this is a key area, and we believe it's a key area as well going forward, particularly not only for software vendors, but likewise for users. So in summary, we believe 3 key megatrends to look out for, clearly in the context of the future: loosely coupled API economy, Internet of Everything, digital business, and moving from kind of piecemeal, standalone initiatives to a more holistic approach. And likewise, intersecting against these megatrends are 3 key opportunity areas. Oop. Sorry about that. I tell you, I think she wants me to get digital. But 3 key opportunity areas that intersect all 3 of those trends, clearly around mobility and location independence, monetization, and cognitive systems. So with that, thank you for your time today. I'll open it up for a few questions. We just have a couple minutes if there's any questions from the audience.
On the API economy, thank you. Have you looked? I've had some discussions, and I don't know whether they're in the room or not, but I've had some discussions with Amazon specifically around the whole API economy.
I couldn't hear the name of the company.
Amazon.
Amazon, okay.
Yeah. Do you see other platform vendors or PaaS vendors also focusing on or zooming in really on APIs and bringing APIs together? I mean, it's certainly something that seems to, Servoy is here that's focusing on that more from a development perspective, Amazon from a platform perspective. Do you see other PaaS vendors or vendors in general that really focus on that already?
Oh, absolutely. IBM is going hugely in this area and actually developing a whole series of tools and part of the Blue Mix initiative that they recently announced, and libraries and monetization capabilities. They've been really working on this for a couple of years, as an example, without me getting into too many details. And their key challenge was, how are we going to make any money on this? How, as a platform, but not just in enabling other companies to make money and monetizing APIs, but how is a platform vendor going to make the money? So apparently they feel confident that they have been able to solve that issue. So that's an example of another major platform player. I would anticipate this is going to be cats and dog fights. So other questions?
So you're talking a lot of there is proactive customer engagement. So are you talking about the
rapid adoption of the Tatangos and the gain sites and the Scout Analytics, is that what that proactive customer engagement, is that bode well for those tool sets, or is that something different?
Well, it could be tool sets, it could be just social engagement, it could be engaging with customers in all facets of your relationship with those customers. So this is what, for those 200 plus people that we surveyed, they identified as the most important priority for them. How important it was to succeed in digital business was customer engagement. So one is, companies like Tatango clearly can help you with that customer engagement, but there's an awful lot more than just using Tatango. Whether it is social initiatives, whether it is the way that you build your website, whether there's a whole slew of activities and strategies for proactive customer engagement. Okay. All right, thank you so much for your time today.